Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, September the 28th. No, sorry, October the 28th. I wish it was September the 28th. I'd still be 32. It's October the 28th, 2021. It's another Technical Alpha podcast. Hope you're all doing well out there on this, well, it's actually October weather here now, properly, which here in Halifax means it's just raining. And not like downpour, but like just raining enough that you can't do outdoor activities comfortably, which is kind of annoying if you think about it, because you look outside and you debate. You think to yourself, can I get away with going outside, maybe getting some fresh air, go for a walk? And you're seeing it, and you're looking at the pavement. It's a little wet, but you can't really see the rain outside, but you don't do it anyway. And you know why you don't do it? Because you know at any given moment, skies are going to open up. It's going to be the second coming of Christ. And you're going to be fucking soaking wet, and that's October in Halifax, Nova Scotia. It's another Technical Alpha podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We got a great show lined up for you today, as always. Stuff coming in last minute. Not something we would talk about normally, but hot, fresh news off the presses. Facebook is alphabeting itself and is now called Meta, is the umbrella corp. Google went Alphabet with their umbrella. Facebook is going with Meta. Which, really, you could not have gotten any more, like, kind of movie parody of big corporate name scheme than Meta. But then watching him do his little, spiel where he does a video about talking about the metaverse and all this other shit is, like, legitimately fucking, like, some sort of weird dystopian movie thing. Anyway. Before all that, we gotta talk about video game stuff. And before that, I have to ask the most important question of the week. Mr. Black, how's your week?
Another week. That's pretty much it. Nothing crazy has happened this week. It's been the house is sold, so that actually happened.
So it's done. Is that done?
It's done.
Like the keys are handed and like everything is.
The check is cut. It's over. It's done. I'm out of it. So that was good. Sent out for my passport because that shit was about to expire. And what else did I do? That's it, man. I'm just getting back on track now. Just getting back into the grind, really, because the last pretty much all of October has been all over the place for me. So
real estates.
Yeah, I'm just getting back into it, getting back into the groove, and preparing for the fall winter grind, man. The
hibernation grind where there's nothing else to do but work.
That's it. So I'm just preparing myself mentally for that. And, I'm ready to bang out those, 220-hour months for the next 5 months and come out on the other side feeling a little bit more depressed about life and everything else. So
is the hot tub here yet, though?
No, that it's going to take another month.
Oh, okay.
The other thing is I am wrestling with the idea of getting a piano. So I've got an opportunity to get an upright.
Like a proper.
Oh, a proper, like a proper upright Yamaha.
Well, you got a couple places in the house that have like room that awkwardly can't be used for a lot else, so you could put a piano in that place and make use of it.
Yeah, so I'm considering it. We'll see what happens. I'm not 100% sold on it yet. There's a few things that I want to lock up first for next year. And if I do that, then I think I'm going to treat myself and do it. And then, at least I'll have something to play and get my brain going again and play an instrument, get good at it, and have my son to have something to play as he gets older. So hit two birds with one stone. We'll see.
Wonderful.
That's it.
Spectacular. And your tooth. Of which you lost the majority of, or was that a crown that you had before that just cracked right off?
No, it wasn't a crown. I had a filling there, and the filling started kind of decaying over time.
Of course, as they do.
And I was just, pardon me, Kayla brought home some pulled, like, one of those chickens that you can get at Sobeys or Superstore or wherever.
Yeah, just the rotisseries.
Rotisserie chicken and some taters, those taters. So I was eating a tater, and the tater was like a little crunchy. And I eat a tater. It must have completely cracked it, because then when I put the chicken in my mouth, which was super, super soft. I just heard a crack, and I'm like, whoa, what the hell? That felt weird. And then I was like, and I spit the stuff out, and there it is. There's a chunk of my tooth, and I mean, not a small chunk.
No, that was substantial. I saw it on Twitter.
And I knew something was up because as soon as it came out, and once like the air and my tongue just started hitting my tooth, it felt like somebody was pouring cold water down my fucking root. And I was like, uh-oh, this ain't good. So I went to the bathroom and took a look, and lo and behold, there was, quarter of my back molar just completely out. So I had to man it up for a day and a half because it was a Sunday afternoon where it happened. No place was open. Monday morning, we called like 5 dental office. Nobody could get us in that day because it wasn't like an extreme emergency.
Yeah.
So they one of them could get us in. I went to my old dentist. It could get me in the next day. So the next morning, I went at 9. And now I got a $1,200 crown for the low price, $1,200. I'm hoping that my coverage will cover 50% of it. We won't know. They tried building them out, and we won't know what they're gonna cover until they decide. Because this counts as like major dental when you get a crown,
right?
So yeah. Anyway, that's that. But my tooth feels fine now, and you can never tell. Like the crown is very realistic, so like you wouldn't even know.
Well, it's far enough back in your mouth that unless you were giving you an inspection, you probably would never see it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't see it.
Yeah, you wouldn't see it. Yeah, you wouldn't see it. So. You'd be pretty close up to be able to catch that one.
So yeah, I guess my week was kind of eventful.
Yeah, that's definitely, that adds a little. It's not the spice that we look for in life, but it is spice nonetheless. My week was also another week, except I didn't lose part of a tooth. I more or less just finished Inscription. I started and finished Inscription in the last week, which is like a deck builder, kind of like a Darkest Dungeon deal, but done by or published by Devolver Digital, and fucking roller coaster of a game that was. So I'm in the midst of reviewing that, and that was pretty much my week, really, because if there's one thing to be said about the game is every time I thought I was coming up to the end of it, it sent me for a fucking loop, and I was not at the end of it, and just kept going and going and going. You get a lot for your $20 entry fee on that bad boy. That's Canadian dollars, probably $15 south of the border. So, played that, and then other than that, just been playing Warzone in the streams where I have nothing else to really play, and hating my life because
I've been playing Warzone. I've been playing it off stream. Yeah. So I guess it's been an even crazier week. For one,
whoa!
I played Warzone. And
you played a video game off stream, and it was Warzone?
Off stream. It was like a fucking massive ass download.
It's like 900,000 terabytes. Yes.
Yeah. The only shitty thing is I can't figure out how to get it to be like just regular 1080. It just keeps blowing up on my entire fucking monitor. And it like locks in, like it's not allowing me to like change the it's weird. I've never experienced something quite
welcome
like this.
To Warzone.
And the other thing, you want to know the biggest before we go on a tangent, because I can't do a 3-hour podcast today.
No, a lot of this looks like really meaty, but it's not. Yeah. It's just a lot of notes.
One thing that I absolutely hate about, and I know you love bitching about fucking Warzone, so I'm gonna throw in a little something that you might be able to relate to. Maybe I'm just stupid.
Hook me up.
Maybe I'm stupid, but here it is. And I've played probably about 4 times, just playing an hour or whatever.
Yeah.
And dude, the menus. I log into this bitch. There's like 15 different versions of the game.
Yep.
And then when I go in the version of the game, there's like several different options to play. They're all different. I'm trying to queue up. Then I get people that come on microphones like, how's it going? Queue up. And I'm like, guys, we're not even full. Just queue up. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck. And then we finally get into a queue. We're driving on that plane loading screen, and then one guy leaves, and the other guy says, fuck this, and he bounces. And then I'm down there by myself. I fall down, can't find a gun, get shot, and I just rage quit. That has been 90% of my experience of Warzone so far. So,
That's
you know,
so accurate to Warzone.
That's it, man. That's it.
Bro.
I haven't played it on stream, just doing my own thing.
The menus are fucking atrocious, man.
Oh, it's the
you log in and they've got, even if you don't own them or have them installed, they display every fucking Call of Duty that's come out in the last decade all on the screen at the same time. And by the way, they like to randomly change the order
move them around.
of where those are. You know, on the off chance you click on one you don't own and then it's like a free advertisement for them. And then you finally get in and then they blast your ears and deafen you with some bullshit that you don't give a fuck about, usually the battle pass. And then when you get in, it will show you, it won't take you to the game front, it will take you to the battle pass page to really make sure you know that there's a battle pass. And then you've got to go back to the play tab in which you can finally select one of your modes when those modes are available, because sometimes they'll just be like, fuck it, duos for the next 7 days will be Iron Trials, which is like a variation of the BR where they change a bunch of stats like higher health and all this other bullshit. And you can't just queue in a normal duos anymore for the whole week. It's just that and that's it. So if you like to just play duos, you have no choice. You are forced to play that, and then you get into the game and you get all the trappings of any multiplayer online game where everyone's just screaming at each other and fucking just rage quitting.
Dude, me logging into Warzone. All right, guys, this isn't an exaggeration, and then we'll start the segments here. This is an exaggeration. All right. Me starting up Warzone and first getting into the game, there's so much noise on the screen and just so much shit that it reminded me of the first time that I tried to go through my control panel on my computer and try and figure out how to set up my USB 3.0 and update that, where I'm like, I have to Google it, I have to look it up, I have to go through step by step. I have to right-click things and go to the wrong properties, but I meant to go on the other one. It was very similar. Guys, I've been playing video games my whole life, okay? I should be the individual that no matter what game I play, I should be able to go on and go, this is exactly what I'm doing. The shit was more confusing than Escape from Tarkov. I'm shit you not. I go in there and I have no idea what fucking game mode I'm playing. I just want to play the game, and there's 15 different options. It's brutal. So
it's not good.
It's not good.
And you know what? And you know what the really shitty part is? Even after you figured all that shit out, the game itself is not all that good. So you're just you're putting in a lot of effort to get a really mediocre game, but you keep going back to it anyway because all the other FPS multiplayer games right now are fucking garbage, bro.
It's the McRib, man.
It is the McRib.
It's the McRib.
It's the fucking McRib. You know what else is turning into the McRib of the streaming world? Twitch.
Yeah.
Twitch has officially launched that live stream, or that live test, or a live test of that pay for, what I'm calling the pay for exposure. That's a trademark name, by the way. Pay for the number, pay for exposure, all one word, .com. We talked about a couple of weeks back, estimated to be on roughly about 100 streamers' channels at the moment. I saw one person in this thread say that they can confirm their stream has it, and it was a mid-tier, I would say mid-tier streamer, 7,500 Twitter followers, probably that upper mid on Twitch. Now that we know the numbers, you can say that's upper mid. Before that, people would be like, oh, you're bottom of the barrel. No, 0.0001% on that shit.
If you got 100 viewers on Twitch these days, you're doing good.
You're doing real well yourself. So about 100 thus far anyway for this test. And you can only contribute at the moment if you are in the US, and there's a maximum of $500. So bless them for putting a cap on that, on $500.
Per person or for the entire stream?
Per person, I believe.
Okay. Well.
So, yeah. So if you weren't...
For a day or for forever?
There was no elaboration on the specifics to that, if it was per day or forever or whatnot. Maybe it's just for the testing period or something, I don't know. So if you don't know anything about this, a couple weeks ago we were talking about it where Twitch was fielding the idea, it was leaked that Twitch was fielding the idea of having people be able to pay to get exposure for streams, but not the streamers themselves, the viewers of these streams. So before you had the channel points thing where you could spend channel points to boost a stream, and it would literally boost a stream to the front page, one of the columns on the front page of Twitch. And after much research, by the way, that proved to do literally nothing. In the grand scheme of things. Didn't move the needle whatsoever. And so Twitch's solution to that was, well, fuck it, why don't we just get people to spend money to accomplish the same thing? So it was leaked that they were going to have people pay for this stuff. So this is it. It's the test of that. The breakdown for this is 99 cents gets you 1,000 eyeballs, $2.97 for 3,000, $4.95 for 5,000. So you're not saving money by spending, getting more eyeballs. There's no discounts going on here. It just kind of scales exactly as they go up. So, and this is coming via Zach Boosie, which I'm still not sure if I'm pronouncing his last name right, but bless him, he's on Twitter, and he's been like the number one go-to Twitch leaker for a while now in terms of getting this kind of information out. So. There you have it. It's in live test, which means after it was leaked and the entirety of Twitch looked at them, whether it was a big streamer or a small streamer, and said, no. Twitch on the back end said, yes. And now they're going ahead with it. I'm going to assume that our opinions have not changed on this subject, so we're just going to leave it at news.
No, it's the worst. It's the worst. It's the actual worst, so.
It doesn't... I'm trying to think of like how much lower Twitch could possibly aim on that one. That's difficult. Overwatch has finally decided upon McCree's new name after quite a lot of deliberation, I'm sure, internal to the company, and making sure that whatever name they choose isn't attached to some sort of terrible person in this universe or any other. And that is, or the name that they landed on is Cole Cassidy, which is a very cowboy-sounding name. Rolls off the tongue. Sounds good. I'm just going to give him a 2 thumbs up for that one. Good job. You probably didn't want to have to go back and retcon the entire character, but you did it. You made it happen. And you didn't choose a bad name. Cole Cassidy, not too bad. I'll allow it. Microsoft Series X and S has moved some 8 million consoles now. This is the more recent numbers that we're getting. And the more important news that I was interested in is we now know that the current Game Pass subscription rates is somewhere in the neighborhood of a little over 20 million people are on that service right now. Now, that doesn't mean that all 20 million people are paying the full $9.99 or $12.99 per month or whatever at this time, because lots of people were getting several months for discounts and et cetera, but that does give you an idea of where they're heading, which I can't remember what the percent increase was during the last reporting period. But it was underneath what Microsoft was hoping to hit, but it was still like, I can't remember, it was like 40-something%. It was still high. It was still a massive increase. It was just that Microsoft was like shooting for the fucking stars. Microsoft wanted like a 90-something or some crazy number increase in that same period. PlayStation 5 hit around 13.4 million units now, and the sales overall are up year on year, but profits are down. So whatever is pushing sales within the Sony division right now for the consoles is obviously smaller on margins than they've had before. That just might mean that they're selling more consoles than they're selling games at the moment. And because I would have to assume that the consoles are a much smaller margin, if not a loss, on every unit sold versus most of their software. And so, overall going up and doing well, just the profits overall are down. So whatever they need to do, I'm sure they're working on it right now. If it wasn't already apparently crazy how the Pokemon trading card resurgence has been, a Georgia man used $57,000, Mr. Black, of his COVID-19 business relief money to purchase a rare Pokemon card.
Priorities.
Whichever that card was, the court did not say. I'm going to assume Charizard on that one. Or it was either Charizard or that if there's a Pikachu card that's like Pikachu with a paintbrush or whatever, that's a really high value card as well. Because one of those sold for like $100 and something grand a couple years back. I want to say. But probably Charizard. Let's be honest, it's probably Charizard. He falsified his business financials, so that he didn't just do this. He actually swoondled the government, or attempted to anyway. He got caught, but he swoondled the government and let them know. They were like, "Hey, how much money did your company make so that we can give you the appropriate, percentage for COVID relief?" And he was like, "Here's a number." And it was a lot higher than the actual number was. And so he took a large portion of that extra and got into that hot Pokimane's card market.
You're going to hear so many people and businesses
having done that.
And there's going to be so much people that are going to owe the government so much money over these next few years.
How did anyone think that they were going to be able to fucking do... Like, it's one thing to claim... There's probably going to be some people that thought they were eligible but weren't and claimed anyway, like they're like individuals and shit. But when you go in as a business and you just straight up like double your revenue and send that off to the fucking government,
that's fraud.
How did they not think that was good?
It's a bad time. That's a bad time. Listen,
you don't want to go down that road.
It ain't gonna work.
No,
it ain't gonna work.
Not for you. For the government, it's gonna work.
It's gonna work out great for the government.
It's gonna work out wonderfully for the government, but for you,
they're gonna get their money.
Not only are you not gonna have that prize Charizard that you just blew 57 grand on,
yeah,
but somebody might be trading you in a jail cell for a Charizard. not too distant future.
Yeah, Godspeed.
About as fast as it went up. Speaking of Godspeed, Mr. Black. About as fast as it went up, things seem to be stumbling down for Valkyrae's new skincare line, Reflect. I'm sure this was all over your social media line, as it was over everyone else's. When that
it wasn't
off.
mine. Listen, I've got a confession to make.
I don't suppose. Okay, you know what's your confession?
All right.
You have your own skin line. You need to plug it in this segment. This is a perfect opportunity.
They're not paying me anymore. They're not paying me right now.
Oh, okay, then don't plug. Fuck them.
I ain't paying. Listen.
Fuck them.
There ain't no free plugs here. The shit works.
I thought you were still getting pissed, so I was given the opportunity, but apparently not. Okay, all right.
No. I got a different confession to make here.
All right, what's the confession?
So, a lot of these big social media gamer types.
The gamer influencers.
The gamer influencers. I don't think Valkyrae is part of this thing that I got going on. In fact, I'm pretty sure she isn't. I don't know why this hasn't been on my feed, but
that's crazy if it hasn't. That's wild. It hit mainstream and everything.
There's a lot of people. This is what I do. Because Twitter likes to feed me information about people I don't give a fuck about, like where I just don't care.
Does that to a lot of people.
When I see them, I go to their page and I block them. So like it's nothing to do. It's not like there's probably going to be some people that are like, why the fuck does this guy have me blocked?
It's nothing personal.
It's literally not personal, because it's either I unfollow the people that I actually want to follow, but I can't.
Or you just block the related content.
I can't get mad at them for enjoying their content and the thing that they're interested in. I mean, if there are a bunch of fucking dudes out there that are liking every half-naked girl picture and cosplayer, then I'm gonna just remove them from my friends list. But I'm talking about like people that I just like I don't follow, and it's almost like the social media is forcing me to follow these people.
Yeah.
I go to their page and I just block them, and I don't get anything. And there's a ton of people, like there's a ton of like content creator musicians and shit that like I really don't think their music is good at all, and it's just like it's a popularity contest. I just block everybody. That's what I do, and I've been doing that for like the last 2 years.
That's fair.
It's working wonders.
So I don't know. I'd be surprised if that caught this out like in your net, given the reach of this. But all the same, so do you know nothing about this at all?
No.
Okay, so I'll give you a really quick summary.
Yeah, I think I know about her clothing line. Or
her
stuff, and I know I've seen that people buying the sweaters and shit, but I don't know about
this thing.
This.
Okay, so this was like this really big announcement. Obviously, she was very excited about it, and like all of her friends and whatnot that are all rallied around her for this. Like any launch of any major business deal, she partnered with a skincare company that in the world of influencers, whether it's gaming or movies, in movies, women tend to go the makeup route, a music route, even or do fashion or something like that. Everyone latches onto something. All the dudes are doing alcohol. The Rock has got tequila. Ryan Reynolds has got gin.
I got vodka now or some shit.
Everyone's getting, you all get into your shit. That's just the way it goes, right? So for her, it was skincare. She wanted to go skincare.
All right.
So she partnered with this this company, and obviously they wanted to use her as the front, right? They've got this product. They need somebody to be the face, and Valkyrae is somebody that's big enough, that has a huge reach, but probably wouldn't be as expensive as going for like a traditional media face. And so I suspect this is all conjecture, of course, but that seems relatively reasonable in my mind. So she sits down and talks to them about this product, and they show her a bunch of evidence specifically for blue light from monitors, of which we sit obviously in front of all the time, damaging skin over time. And since we're inside more than outside these days, while the sun is obviously something we have SPF for, this company wanted to produce this product to help protect your skin from blue light from monitors. And that's the name where the name Reflect obviously also comes from. They showed her all this research and evidence that backed this, and she said, great, that was very convincing. It absolutely is in my market. Of course, she's in gaming. She's in front of monitors and whatnot. She wants to do products like this.
Adam.
Match made in heaven. Sign me up. So she's a co-founder on paper, which really just means she's the front of a company. She's the face of a company that is, tangentially involved, but obviously isn't making enormous decisions here. She's the one that's pushing the product. So that launches, and of course, immediately everyone looks into the efficacy of whether or not this could actually do what it's claiming to do. The problem is that there is absolutely zero goose egg scientific research that has pointed to blue light from sources like monitors doing any amount of damage to your skin. And in fact, I think the comparison that you started seeing, I mean, like doctors and shit started to talk about this product like within the first 5 days of this having been out. Where they said, one said, I think it was like, you're going to get more damage to your skin walking from your front door to your car than you are sitting in front of your monitor for 15 hours straight in a solid day. There is zero damage appreciably being done to your skin by sitting in front of a monitor. And all the evidence and research points to this. So, obviously, when that started happening, all these people started flocking to her social media and blasting her because she's the face. The company, of course, is not catching any of this shit. They've been very wise and placed her as the whipping pole for whatever comes their way.
That's not very nice. That's not very nice.
But it's also what a company would do.
They kind of misled her. I mean, I'm sure she didn't,
so, And here's the point. So she did a stream a couple days ago. I think it was 1 or 2 days ago. And the question was, two questions were, or the primary question was, if they showed you all this evidence, why isn't it public? And she went to them after the announcement, and everyone's coming at her, and she said, well, you showed me all this research. Why can't we just make this public, the stuff that you showed me, so that we do this? And they said, no, that's not going to happen. Because if we do, then it's going to endanger our product from competitors having this information. Which makes no sense, by the way, because it's research to show that blue light is happening, and so you would want people to know that that's a thing, but that's what she...
I think they showed her BS, that's what I think.
100%.
I think that's actually what we know at this point.
100%.
And they misled her and took her for a ride.
And her contract, she said, unfortunately, she's just in here now. She's in here now. So she was on stream answering questions and whatnot the other day, and she's like, I'm here now. So... it was one of those things. Now, I don't know Valkyrae at all. Never met her in my life. I only know her from her interrelationship, business and otherwise, with people that I follow within this industry. And I have never had a whiff of anything I've ever seen from her that would tell me that she's somebody that would take this intentionally to pull the wool over people's eyes.
Hell no.
Unfortunately, she's catching the heat for it as if she was
here's
doing
the
that
thing.
shit.
Here's the thing. She needs to take it with a grain of salt, honestly. I know that's fucking tough to do. It's 2021 and people are just going to fucking bitch and try and tear you down regardless. I mean, she knows ethically what she was doing. She spoke out about it. She's obviously got some dog shit business partners that are taking her for a ride. So I'm sure she'll find her way out of this or turn it around and do better in the future and work on a different product that whatever, right? I'm sure she can spin this in a way that things will work out for her in the long run. I don't believe for a second she jumped into this knowing that I'm gonna go here and make a bunch of money. It's like she already has a bunch of money. Like this isn't like
this wasn't a money play.
No, this is a passion. It's probably a passion with hey, listen,
that has business upsides. Obviously,
business upsides. Some money upside on the back end. We get to do something I love. It's just
Ryan Reynolds loves gin, and so he's making gin.
There you go.
The Rock loved him some tequila, so he made some tequila.
There it
Valkyrae had a passion for cosmetics and that whole bag, as many women do, so she went in to make a fucking thing, thinking that it was actually going to be kind of a cool product, and got fucking fleeced out of her mind.
Well, this is her chance to turn it all around. I mean, she's still in it. She can come out with a cool product, and You know what the shitty thing is that the like, just from a moisturizer standpoint, the product could be perfectly fine. It could be perfectly serviceable. The problem is that they're selling it entirely based on the concept that it's blocking blue light and protecting your skin, so you're just fucked. Like, I think that probably the vast majority of people aren't buying it for that anyway. It's just what they're marketing, and if they just came up with some regular stuff and she was behind it and she did her marketing and did her Instagram posts and her Twitter posts with her friends and all of her other influencers, they're gonna fucking sell millions of this shit anyway. So like, is this really the end of the world? Are people really buying this shit because they're scared of fucking blue light come from monitors? Probably an extremely small percentage of people. If very, very small. Most of them are only buying this shit because she's part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty. Like, let's just be real.
Yeah.
So.
Well, hopefully it pans out for her, because right now she got fleeced hard and she's taking all the heat. The company is taking zero.
Well, that's what that's what happens when you're.
You're the face. You're the
face of it now, right? So, I'd
buckle up.
I'd be fucking suing somebody, which you might be. You never know. But
buckle up. I'm sure the company will eventually catch flack. It just won't be from social media per se. It will probably be from something else. Kind of related to this, lots of women in the space doing big things this week. Pokimane also making huge moves this week, announcing her co-foundership of RTS, a creator and esports strategy company that is also partly owns Evo, the tournament, fighting game tournament, alongside of Sony. So earlier we reported about way back that Sony, in partnership with a company called RTS, of which I didn't even look into what RTS was at the time, and I don't think they had publicly announced who was part of that project at the time, had bought Evo. And now here we are. Pokimane is a co-founder of this thing. And she's got more than a few co-workers in on this opening list of employees at the management level that are very, very talented, very experienced people, and they're hoping to... I think the general goal here is a couple of fronts, where on one front they're trying to fix and or improve the creator and sponsor relationship kind of deal in the current market. It's a bit of a mess. Anyone that's worked in this space knows that it's a bit of a mess. And they want to help improve that. And secondarily to that, and related to that, is the esports side of things, where they want to help try and strategize and more help make more legitimate business moves for companies coming up and established. They're a strategy company. And Lord knows, as Jeff and I would know, being around this shit long enough, it's a mess. It's not as messy as it was before, but it's still a mess. And it's still flying by the seat of your pants, and there's a reason why, you got people like, or orgs like 100 Thieves that are mostly merch. because there are just reasons. There are reasons for it. Anyway, RTS, and congrats to Pokimane for doing something else, getting out there, and getting away. This is what you want to see eventually. Is like any high-end content creator that knows what they're doing, getting into some sort of business-related thing to help the space grow beyond just churning out more pure content creators. Because content creation, you only got, as we talked about here on the podcast many times, you got your 15 minutes of fame, if you're lucky. And then that shit's gone. So if you can take your 15 minutes and turn it into this.
I'm going on like hour 4 right now.
You're on that marathon?
I'm on hour 4. Oh, tired. That's where I'm at. But yeah, it's true. I mean, you get 15 minutes in this bitch if you're lucky. Especially
15
today.
really productive minutes anyway.
Yeah. There's not a lot of new content creators, at least in the streaming space. Like on YouTube, they're birthing a little bit more frequently, but on the streaming side, there isn't a whole lot of new streamers a year that really make a name. Like that really
break out of the bottom, yeah. And that's I mean, there's this. You could write a freaking thesis, I'm sure.
I mean,
on that topic. Yeah.
Call it the grind.
Call it the grind. The grind 2. The grind 2. What's the subtitle of the grind 2? Just don't do it.
It's too late.
It's too late. Turn back. The moment you've been waiting for, Mr. Black, and I know you've been waiting for this one for a long time.
Oh boy, what is it?
The Wu-Tang Clan has a action RPG themed game coming. It's set to be a third-person RPG with melee-oriented combat with 4-player co-op, and is set to also have seasonal endgame content and, of course, a soundtrack by the Wu-Tang Clan. We've made it, Jeff.
I will definitely not be playing that. Sounds horrible.
Now, I know some NFT conglomerate just bought their, unreleased, only one person can own this album, like last week or 2 weeks ago now. Because Martin Shkreli, or whatever his name was, the guy that was like gouging everyone for insulin for years, the most punchable man in America for at least 2 or 3 months, who's now probably in jail, I think. Anyway, he had it. He was the one that owned that fucking thing for a while, and then the government said,
"What was his name?
Martin Shkreli or whatever his name was." Fucking asshole. So, so anyway, the government said, "You don't own this. Somebody else owned this." So they took the album and auctioned it off, and some NFT conglomerate with an intermediary converted a bunch of Ethereum into real dollars and bought that shit. So stay tuned for the Wu-Tang Clan unreleased album going up as an NFT, track by track, in the not too distant future. But yeah, Wu-Tang Clan.
Listen, I love me some Wu-Tang, but do we really need an RPG, a Wu-Tang themed RPG? Do we really need this in our life?
Not.
Okay.
Probably not.
Okay.
But are we getting it?
Yeah.
Apparently.
All right.
It's happening.
Maybe it's amazing.
Maybe the tracks are amazing. So you play it just for the music or some shit.
There you go.
Maybe that's the strategy. Oh, where am I here? Okay. Halo Infinite had their campaign overview, not a trailer, but video that was released this week, and it's getting very positive receptions. Certainly well beyond their original showing from last year, where it was just kind of a dumpster fire. I watched it. I don't know if you've seen it yet. I watched it, and it obviously visually looks better than it did last year, like pretty substantially. And even the gameplay looked better. But the presentation of this campaign overview was so boring and so corporate themed that it drove me insane and made me less hyped for the campaign. I'm still super hyped for the online multiplayer, but I was on the verge of wanting to fall the fuck asleep. It literally felt and sounded like something that they would have internally. They had Cortana doing like voiceover, like talking you through the campaign overview, and saying things like, "You are the Master Chief," as if literally anyone needed to be reminded that you are playing Master Chief. And the whole thing just felt like something that you would show to suits that have never played a fucking Halo game before. The music, while it was good, the selection was weird, the timing was weird, so it was very hard to get hype about anything. I need another trailer for the campaign, and I need it to be actually hype, because that one was a snooze fest. Not to say that it didn't look like it played and looks better in general, because it does, but all the same, I didn't get excited about it. So I need more, personally. The multiplayer, though.
Fair.
Great stuff. GTA, the trilogy remasters. So we finally got a trailer for that. Did you see that? The trailer for the remasters?
I did.
What did you think about the overhaul?
I mean, yeah, sure. I'm not complaining about it. I might even pick it up.
I thought it looked great. I mean, you gotta remember. I mean, and they show you, what they're working with, and you gotta understand that a lot of people were saying it looked too cartoony and shit, and it was like, do you even remember what games you're playing right now? But the more important thing that I saw was a lot of people trying to compare this remaster to Resident Evil 2 Remake. And being like, why we got Resident Evil over here getting all this attention, and then this is what Rockstar gives us? How this is just treating us with such disrespect. I'm like, motherfucker, do you know what you're asking for? Do you know the size of these 3 games? And that a remake is different from a remaster, and that even if you were to remake one of these, it would take like 7 years to remake this shit from the ground up. Yep. These 3 games encompass some of the largest games ever made for their time, or even today. And to remake it from the ground up so that it looks like a Resident Evil 2 remake would be insane and a waste of time, because they're all fine. They're putting like a more GTA 5 control scheme in there, and then the visual updates, I think, look really fucking good. And of course, because they're on PC, people are going to mod the fuck out of it anyway, so shut the fuck up. They look great. People were complaining about the price. I think it's perfectly reasonable. But the more interesting part about this was that PlayStation Now or whatever, like their service, is getting GTA 3. Game Pass is getting Vice City. Oh no, sorry, not Vice City, San Andreas. And Vice City is the one that you don't get access to unless you just physically buy the trilogy. So I think even Rockstar knows that the one that a lot of people are chasing after, the dragon, is Vice City. Also, probably there's probably more licensed music in that they need to pay a lot of money for than some of the other games. But all the same, it's worth the $60. It's worth the price of admission. It's 3 of some of the best games ever made, certainly in the genre. They've been touched up. They look great. They're going to play better, and they're going to get modded to hell on the PC if you get the PC. So yeah, I thought they looked fantastic. Also, in relation to this, rumor coming from Snoop Dogg, Uncle Snoop, Mr. Black. Who you know is obviously the core of the video game rumor mill on a daily basis. Has said that Dr. Dre is producing music for an upcoming GTA game. And obviously now people are wondering, well, there's only 2 options here. Dr. Dre is going to release some tracks for this re-release of these 3 games, or it's GTA 6. GTA 6 is a long fucking way away.
Yep.
So, we're not, like, people aren't sure which one of those 2 things is the case. I doubt that Snoop Dogg is lying. I don't know why he would fucking make that shit up. It makes sense. Dre's at the halftime show and all this shit. He looks like he's making a push for something. So it looks like we're gonna get some Dre tracks in either this remaster or GTA 6 or both. You never fucking know. But that's dope. It's been a while. When's the last time Dre did like an actual album?
Been a while.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Been a while. I mean, why would you need to when you're worth like $1 billion? Well, actually, $500 million now that he's getting divorced.
Oh, he's getting divorced?
Yeah.
Oh no, he's only gonna have $500 million. I'm sure he'll survive. But yeah, Dr. Dre. How old is Dre? Dre in his like late 50s now?
He's probably in his
Because N is 50, right? Or 40? No, not 50. He's 40 something. 40 something.
I think Eminem's almost 50. I don't know. Dr. Dre, he's probably in his 50s, right? Yeah, he's 56.
Damn,
makes me feel old.
get him, Dre. He'll probably still drop fire though. I got faith in Dre.
Oh yeah,
I got faith in him. But are the children going to be fucking wanting to listen to that shit? That's the question. Probably not. Unless he has somebody punch him in the jaw first, so that he just kind of like slurs out his words like he's just had a stroke. Maybe the kids will listen to him then. Eidos Montreal put out a playlist or a play test survey that referenced Final Fantasy Tactics and of all things Ogre Battle. Which is pretty wild, given it's been, I think, 20 years since Ogre Battle has been a thing anywhere.
Yep.
And definitely, of course, has people hopeful that means that we are getting something in that vein between a Final Fantasy Tactics and an Ogre Battle. Two very beloved games that were both very fire. And I'm sure people would be open to having something similar to that. I don't think that this means that there's an Ogre Battle coming or a Final Fantasy Tactics, but something that's similar to the both of those. And I think people would be open to, at least the people that have been waiting for something like this, because it's not every day that you get a Final Fantasy Tactics or an Ogre Battle like game pop off on the market. So there you go. I never did play Ogre Battle. I played a little bit of Tactics. I never did play Ogre Battle. Did you ever get your hands on that back in the day?
No, I mean, no, but I do own it.
Oh, you have it back there.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I do. Never played, though.
Nintendo expansion pack. It's off to a rocky start. Color me shocked, Mr. Black. It's off to a rocky start as reports and videos started to pop up on social media showing that it doesn't work all that hot sometimes. For example, input lag issues, music latency issues, button reversal issues, like the B and the A buttons just fucking flip.
Nice.
As well as graphics, and this is one I saw. Personally, somebody posted a video of Ocarina of Time. Graphics issues that can lead to game crashes. So in their game, Link's torso, I think it was, and maybe shield, didn't exist. It was just blank space. And they were running around, and then the game started skipping and going, and the music started getting fucking weird, like you were in a horror game, and then the game just crashes, and then the screen comes up and said, oops, something bad happened. We need to restart this thing. And so, yeah, there you go. Can I just say this? Only Nintendo could fuck up emulating their own fucking video games.
Yep.
Only Nintendo. Nobody else would be out here fucking this up as bad as Nintendo. It is soul crushing that with all, like, and this isn't the first time. I mean, they've taken ROMs off of ROM websites, which they also like sued to take them down. They don't have their own ROMs apparently, so they were taking them off of ROM websites. And now we're at a point where they can't even fucking emulate it when they have it. I don't even know what to make of that. But it's definitely the most Nintendo thing that's happened in a hot minute. Hopefully they get it figured out, but, you know, every time Nintendo does this shit, I feel less and less bad for them every time another fucking emulation site with emulators and ROMs pop up, because Nintendo is obviously, very obviously, not preserving their own fucking back catalog at all.
No.
And period. So keep fighting the good fight out there, boys and girls, and keep that shit going, because we know it ain't gonna come from Nintendo.
Just don't buy their shit. Don't buy the stuff.
No, just don't buy their shit.
Stop buying the stuff. Like,
find a fucking copy of a game somewhere, buy it for $8 at a yard sale, and then get a ROM and emulate it.
Yes. Done.
Losing myself here. Activision Blizzard attempted to pause the sexual assault lawsuit. They straight up went to the court and said, "Hey, can we pause this game, bro?
Yo, can we get a timeout?
We're hurting over here. I need a tea. I need some orange slices brought over here by one of the other mums. I need to get my vitamin C levels back up before we can continue this." And the court said, "Go fuck yourself." Further to that, then, Bobby Kotick, of course, now that everything else has failed miserably, Bobby is in full-blown panic mode, Mr. Black. He needs some good press. He needs to look good for the court. He needs anything. He needs his shares to stop tanking because they're like 25% below the year-to-date highs or some shit. He needs.
Oh, you're saying I should dump a bunch of money into Blizzard stocks at the moment.
This is possibly your moment
here.
Possibly your moment. Bobby's doing anything he can. So, Bobby Kotick also announced he'll be reducing his salary to the lowest that California will allow, which is something around $60,000, until they fix their culture issues internally. Very good of him, just a few months after receiving his $155 million bonus from the previous year, bringing in a union-busting team mid-lawsuit, failing to pause the lawsuit, and there's an earnings report about to launch. So it's a good thing that he's choosing now to do it. I really do feel he's being very philanthropic about this whole thing. Really laying down on the sword for the rest of the team. Good on him. If you can't sense the sarcasm in my voice, go fuck yourself, Bobby Kotick. Straight up. This man sat on this shit for a decade. A decade. And then tried to do everything in his power in the last 6 months to not do anything. And flip this shit on every other employee. And now that there is literally no other way out, he's backed his rat ass, his fat fucking neck-folded ass into a corner. There's nowhere else to go. He's fine! I'll take my $155 million and only add $60,000 to it this year. Is that good enough for you? Is that good enough? He's going to walk into court, and the judge is going to say, no, it's actually not. Because you have an enormous, multi-year-long sexual harassment lawsuit on your hands. You can't get away from it. So there you go. Now we wait and see what the next move is. That's where it's at. I haven't looked at the price chart yet for their stock. Is it actually down right now? Is it down a bit?
Not today, but I mean overall, yeah. I mean,
yeah, we're a little dip.
It's been a yeah.
It's been a year.
It's been a year. It's been a year for Blizzard. But here's the thing: they'll bounce back, man.
Of course.
Bounce back.
Of course. Related to this, the two more points to this: Vicarious Visions, who are the teams, of course, bordering on Legendary Studio that converted into more of a doing remakes and remasters for other teams. More recently, we also reported about the time or just the last couple of months, where Activision had bought them out and then immediately put them on, I believe it was Diablo 2, to do the remake of that. And now they are, as expected, but sadly, as expected, are losing their name. So Vicarious Visions is gone. They have just been folded into the giant amorphous blob of Activision Blizzard. And will join the hive mind to create something like more Call of Duty. So, good luck out there, guys. Hope you enjoyed making various video games while you did. Now you're gonna join everyone else under Activision Blizzard in their unified focus to do two things: sexually harass women and make Call of Duty. It's the two tenets of current Activision Blizzard. God speed. BlizzCon, of course, has been put on hold. They just announced this recently. Put on hold for the teams to focus on their games and, well, everything else that's happening at the company right now, much of which we've just listed. So BlizzCon not happening. Not that they would have had anything to show anyway, but on pause is the terminology I believe they used for that. They are still going to have announcements, they said, for the games that they are working on and showing some of that stuff off, of course, around that time, but are not going to be able to put in the effort to make a proper BlizzCon. Coming in 2022, a Quiet Place game is en route, Mr. Black. And it's an original story within the movie universe. Not something I would have thought about, but at the same time, I could see something like that actually not being too bad.
Yeah.
It's kind of a stealthy horror, obviously easily survival horror type deal. You wouldn't have to be laden with, weapons and stuff. It's going to be probably just get point A to point B, making no noise. There's a lot of tension to be had there. I mean, the movie had a lot of tension. I can only imagine playing that shit. Probably be quite tense. So hopefully they do right by it. I never saw the second one yet. Did you see the second one?
I did.
What did you feel about the second one?
It was good.
Was it? Yeah. Did it live up to because the first one was so good. Sometimes you get scared. You're like, oh, second one.
No, the second one was it was good. It was pretty much it was
like as good or
it was
better?
as good in some ways better, in some ways not. Like they did certain things better and then certain things not, but I actually really, really enjoyed it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you think that do you think that this is a trilogy or are they stopping
it
it
is.
too?
It's already greenlit. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
I did not know. Well, there you go. There you go. Attaboy. Speaking of NFTs earlier, as NFTs have made some folks a lot of money, and they have made folks a lot of money. Of course, now some companies are trying to get in on this. More traditional companies are trying to get in on the rush, and so Hasbro has announced, Mr. Black, this is the time. This is your moment, Mr. Black. You too can own a Power Rangers NFT this week. You want a picture of a Megazord? We can get you a picture of a Megazord, and you can own that picture of a Megazord for God knows how much Ethereum. You interested? No?
No.
Even if it's like the really neat No?
No.
Not even with the tiger head?
None of it.
Okay. Thought I'd just toss it out there. I was hoping for some good news this week for Sony, because I'm always looking for news, because it seems that Xbox always has the one that's spewing out stuff on a weekly basis. And Sony had their State of Play here a couple days ago. But it was what many are calling a bit of a wet fart. Wasn't much of a show, this State of Play. A lot of people saying that probably didn't even need to happen, but they did it. The only two things of any real note at this State of Play was a Star Ocean game for the 12 people still waiting for a Star Ocean game since, Dreamcast era. And the 37th Five Nights at Freddy's game, Mr. Black. Got another one of those coming.
Great.
I actually don't know how many there are, but I feel like we might actually be approaching 37 for Five Nights at Freddy's. I lost track after a while. They just kept coming out. I actually thought they were just like re-releases of old.
I thought they were more of like DLC, just kind of like a new. I don't know. Maybe that's what they kind of. Maybe those games are just like as big of a deal as DLC. I don't feel like there's much substance into those games. It's just.
I'm waiting for the sequel, Six Nights at Freddy's.
There you go.
Could happen.
Could.
And the last bit of news we got here for gaming is Warner Bros. Did not want to be left out of the Brawler universe, and so it seems they're making their own Smash clone, Mr. Black. We, of course, have the Nickelodeon crazy one that we had, SpongeBob and all that nonsense. That's launched and has been doing its thing and doing quite well so far anyway, from what I've been seeing on social media, one way or the other. Although they're already falling victim to the same thing the Smash community developers did, where everyone's now just like demanding certain characters show up all the time, and God knows how long they're going to have to live with that. Well, for as long as the game is a thing, really. But Warner Bros. Didn't want to be left out of any of that toxic action, and so they're apparently getting in on it themselves. However, they didn't want anyone to know about it yet. So Hungrybox, HBox, was a premier Smash player, was one of the people that were tweeting about this yesterday, amongst a couple of others as well, that there was a leak. And the leak had, I think it was just a piece of the roster from the game. Like the character select screen. And he had everything from Bugs Bunny to fucking Batman and I think Adventure Time was in there. And a few others, obviously. Many things under the Warner Bros. Name. With the added meme that it was a possibility. Who is it that they said might be the first release? Oh crap. Anyway, it was an actual actor or something. I can't just put my finger on it right now. Either way, people are like, there's no way this is real. It's fake as shit. There's no possible way that this is happening. Oh, LeBron James, right, because of his involvement in Space Jam. So, coming soon, LeBron James versus Batman.
LeBron wins.
LeBron wins. So anyway, everyone was like, this is fake. There's no way that's real. The first thing they got DMCA'd was the video on YouTube. That got taken down. Not just claimed, but like outright taken down. And then about, I'd say, 3 to 5 hours after that, all the Twitter posts that had the pictures of the character select screen, and they're gone. And so, obviously, cat's out the bag. Obviously, they're working on that shit. And that's a real thing. They just didn't want anyone to know about it yet. So, there you have it. So, buckle up for that joyride. Who knows when it's going to be a thing, but it's apparently going to be a thing. And you know what? Fuck it, why not? If they can do it well, just sure. That's the important thing, as we discussed here last week. The important thing at this point is people just want what, Mr. Black?
I mean,
they just want good games.
I just that's all I want. I don't want any more McRibs. I want a new experience.
You want a proper half rack of dry aged, sauced up ribs.
I want to sit down in a restaurant, grab a pint, have like an appetizer, a calamari beforehand. Wait for that beautiful, beautiful rib to come out. That's just been sitting there marinating for a good amount of time. Proper cut, not too cooked, not burnt, just the right amount of awesome, with a nice side of crispy. I'm gonna go with sweet potato fries.
Okay.
And some veggies.
Okay.
And that's all I really need in my life. I mean, that right there, that's the show. And then with a little for dessert, get me a brownie with a little bit of chocolate sauce on top and a big scoop of vanilla ice cream attached to it.
Is that brownie heated, Mr. Black?
Of course it is. Just slightly, though. Just slightly. Not too hot.
Do you like your brownie a little undercooked on the inside, so crispy outside, little undercooked in the middle, or do you like the brownie all the way through?
I fucks with both, to be honest. I actually fucks with both. 100%. Listen, just give me a good brownie.
As long as it's heated.
Oh, it's got to be slightly heated.
It's got to be heated.
Need it. Yeah, I don't need it to be like when my fork touches it, it just kind of like flattens like paper.
Yeah.
It still needs to feel like cake almost.
Little chew
in there. You know, but enough that when you put it in your mouth with some ice cream, you know, it's got to be like 2-part ice cream, 2-part brownie. Put that in there, and it's almost got to kind of melt in with the ice cream. I can't be chewing the brownie and then having the ice cream. It's got to kind of come in together. Give me that. My mouth is watering right now.
That in video game form.
Yes.
Is what we're looking for.
Yes.
So what you're saying is what we really want is just the McRib Brawler.
Yes. Give me that.
various food items. Brawling it out. With the end game boss being a proper half rack with sweet potato fries, veggie, and a brownie with ice cream. I'm in. Mr. Black, it's time to sell people just as well, not only on food, but on our sponsors. What do you got for us?
All right, we got first and foremost, patreon.com/legtv. All right, bypass the sponsors altogether and support directly on Patreon. Okay, head on over there, throw money at the screen. We're keeping this show going. It's still going, guys. It's still going. It's going to go until it doesn't make financial sense for me to do this anymore, and we're kind of bordering it now. So head on over there to patreon.com/legtv and support. If you can't do it financially, make sure that you at least leave a good review. Hit the like button on the YouTube. Leave a comment for the algorithms, you know? Do all of those things. Share it with a friend, you know? And then maybe they will go to patreon.com/legtv and throw some money at the screen. And if not, they can hit the like button and share it. You see how that works? Now, if you got some money to spend, I got a few ways that you can spend that money. First and foremost, we got Elgato. If you guys don't already have a face cam, which is what I'm using now, their webcam, their new webcam, I've also got my Elgato key light. Take a look at what this thing does. All right, listen. that off. That's without light. You know, this is without light. Yeah, you can see me. I'm a little blue kind of here. It's getting the hue off the monitors. If only I had some of that Valkyrae stuff to put on my skin right now, it wouldn't do anything, but I'm sure I'd feel great. Look, they got the Elgato key light. We hit that bad boy on there. It's going to shut off for a second. It's going to detect how much light it needs to bring. Then she's going to ease in and do slight adjustments, and boom, this is automatic. It's the technology. It's the Elgato key light.
It's not a McRib.
It's not a McRib. It's not a McRib. Listen, Elgato, you know, the end of the year is coming. Who knows? They may or may not be with us next year. All right, I don't know yet. I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna tell you this: even if Elgato isn't a partner here next year, which we hope they are, but if they aren't, I still would highly recommend the face cam, the key light, the stream deck all day. And if you need a plug and play microphone, go ahead and grab that Wave 3. These are all products that I use on a regular basis. I would also be letting you guys know about the capture card, the 60 frame 4K HDR capture card. I just don't use it very often because I just don't have many things that I use to connect to it. I use it a little bit when I use my VR, but outside of that, I don't really use it. But I'm telling you, the Stream Deck, the key light, and this webcam, I'm using every day, all day, and the shit works. And it works well, it's well priced, and it's the best stuff in the game, especially at the price range. So make sure you guys go and check out Elgato. Link is in the description below. We also got NordVPN. You know, NordVPN, we've been plugging them for a while. They're always showing love. They ain't going anywhere. NordVPN.com/OTT. Use the promo code OTT and get yourself 73% off plus 4 bonus months when you get a 2-year subscription. Stay safe. Stay anonymous when you're on the internet. Watch different regions of Netflix. Support the stream. Support the sponsor that supports the streams. NordVPN isn't just sponsoring us. They sponsor a lot of different content creators. They out there allowing us, I shouldn't say to do what we do, but making it easier for us to do what we do financially by supporting the shows that you guys like to keep the fucking lights on. Because I'm going to keep it 100 with you guys. Without these sponsors, I'm not sure I'm continuing to do this podcast because it's just that sponsors are a big part of it, right? So head on over there and support the sponsors. These are good products. Listen, I've had tons of different companies that are interested in sponsoring, but a lot of them are shitty. I'm only going to promote the ones that I use and that are good. NordVPN, guys, you're getting discounts up the waz. I mean, they always get discounts, but this is the biggest one that they've ever had. I know a lot of you guys got to get a resubscription coming up soon because it's been over 2 years we've been promoting them. So it's time to re-up. And then on top of that, you only need 1 account per household. So you can use up to 6 simultaneous devices. And they support podcasts. So the next time, I'm sounding like a broken record here, guys. I'm nailing it into you because it's becoming to the end of the year. This is important times for us, all right? I'm really selling it here, guys. I'm caking it on there, all right? This is the brownie with the vanilla ice cream. This is the time to step up, all right? Go ahead and grab the subscription because when you can watch different regions of Netflix for less than the price of a grande cinnamon dolce latte a month, that's worth it in and itself. So head on over, nordvpn.com/OTT. There's my plug.
And now it's time for
movies and TV.
Jeff Goldblum's Disney Plus show has done well enough to garner a second season as it's announced. The World According to Jeff Goldblum season 2 lands November the 12th, which is fantastic news. I greatly enjoyed the first season. Seeing the world through Jeff Goldblum's eyes is an acid trip, and it's one that I will take whenever the opportunity arises. Also, everyone can breathe easy, Jeff included. Dune has done more than well enough to get a greenlit sequel. Dune 2 is therefore en route, and I'm sure that means that the inevitable third will follow shortly. Well, not shortly, but after that. I think they said it was like an estimated 2 years or some shit before Dune 2 would drop.
Yeah, I think it's like October something 2023.
Yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood. Lightyear, a movie based on the real person behind what would become Buzz Lightyear within the Toy Story universe. Got a teaser trailer. I haven't seen the teaser yet. Have you seen the teaser for it?
I did.
How'd you feel about Lightyear? I know from the stills and some of the stuff I saw, visually, as always, Pixar.
It looks awesome. Yeah.
Amazing.
It looks and sounds awesome, and it's Chris Evans as the voice as Buzz.
Yes, it's true. Yeah.
It looks good. It looks
fantastic.
Really good. Yeah. Looks solid.
They haven't fucked up. Has Pixar ever had a dud?
Not really.
No.
Even
a dud for Pixar is still really good.
Yeah, even the movies that I'm not really all that interested in, and he's just sit down and watch, because I have, Kai just watches the shit. Like,
yeah. I'm
like, man, I'm not interested in this. I watch it, and I'm like, hey, you know what? It's not a bad fucking movie.
Yes, not Tim Allen. I don't know if they're just doing that for story reasons, because this isn't actually Buzz Lightyear the toy, but Buzz Lightyear the man.
Yeah.
That was behind it, and or if Tim Allen has done some shit that Pixar is just separating themselves.
It's the origin story. He's like
it's the younger version as well. And last thing I've got here, unless you've got something else here, the Tiger King 2 trailer also dropped, and that I did not miss. I watched the Tiger King 2 trailer because I'm always looking for a dumpster fire, and there is no bigger dumpster fire than the Tiger King. It's popping off 5 days after Jeff Goldblum on November the 17th. I have it here in my notes after watching it. I want it to be a wild ride, Mr. Black, because the first season was such a wild ride, but I feel like, for whatever reason, that it's going to be a disappointment.
Of course it is. This is a cash grab, 100%. I mean, how can you have a wild ride when dude's in prison? You got to take a wild ride to the fucking, courtyard? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is 150% a cash grab, and that's that. This is not going to be nearly as good as season 1. This is going to be a complete and utter letdown. And we'll watch it because it's Tiger King.
It's Tiger King. Like most of the trailer, I don't know if you saw the trailer, but most of the trailer is like the characters not in jail. And I call them characters because I can't even, part of my brain wants me to believe that none of these people could actually be real. So I call them characters. So there's mostly all of the characters from the original season flaunting all of the wealth that the first season brought them. Meanwhile, Joe Exotic fucking in jail, rotten, trying to get out. Everyone else is balling out of control.
Everybody's living their best life. And he's in there getting his ass pounded in jail. Bad time.
Oh my God, what a ride that show is. But yeah, that's all I got from movies and TV. You got anything else that's cropped up here in the last week?
I finished Squid Game.
How did you feel about Squid Game as a whole?
I liked it. It's definitely overrated by a substantial margin. I mean, the amount that everybody's going crazy over this phenomenon that is the Squid Game, it's definitely not warranted, but it's a good time. So, like, it's not like I watched it and hated it. But I guess, like, if people haven't seen that type of shit before, then maybe
it's definitely the shock portion of it is what's got it popping off everywhere.
Like, I didn't find it that shocking. Like
we might be a little too desensitized, whereas the normal Netflix watcher,
I suppose,
not quite as desensitized as we are.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose. Like, I'm obviously not going to spoil anything, but I found once we got into like episode, I think 6 or something, when they introduced I gotta be careful how I say this. They introduced you kind of see more of the overlords.
Yeah.
We'll put it that way.
That one that hurt the soul.
That hurt the soul. I mean, that shit
it hurt the soul.
That felt very Korean. Well,
it was somebody that very obviously doesn't speak English, writing dialogue for English.
Yeah,
and they got actors that had no offense to them, no right to be on camera, and had them do those lines, and so it was like a stacked effect of like bad English dialogue with terrible actors.
Yeah, like I mean, maybe in the Korean culture side of things, maybe that's appropriate. I don't know. I don't watch enough like Korean related stuff where, you know, the English speaking characters are like almost cartoony. Like almost
I think it was intentionally very almost parody of the North American or American
it was so hard
person.
It was so hard to take wealthy serious person. Like it was so and I knew exactly like where the show was going. I knew exactly why this was happening. But like at the same time when these characters got involved, I was like, this, like, I mean, it dumbed the show down. Like I would have rather have had more Korean or even different. I don't know. It's almost like it was almost like watching like an English movie where you're dealing with like bad Russian mobsters and they're not really like Russian mobsters, but they're shitty actors playing bad Russian mobsters. And it just comes off like that, and it took me out of the show. But overall, I enjoyed the show. There wasn't really much in there that I didn't see coming. Even the very end, you know, Kayla called out a while ago. I didn't really see that coming, but some of the other stuff did. Yeah, I mean, overall, if I had to give it a rating out of a 10, I'd probably give it an 8. Just from a standpoint of like, it was entertaining. It's on Netflix. If it wasn't so fucking amped up, I probably would have enjoyed it a little bit more because my expectations going in were so high. Because everybody and their dog was like Squid Game, Squid Game, Squid Game, Squid Game. And I'm like, okay, like let's fucking go for this ride here. And I love me some Korean film. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I'd watched it with subtitles. I didn't fucking do the dub shit. We enjoyed it. I just wasn't over the moon for it. We know we're going to get another one, and I hope that since it's so successful, they get a bigger budget, they up the stakes, and we get another cool set of characters, and we get a little bit more diversity too. I hope we get a bigger range of characters as well, because I just felt, I just didn't feel like there was a lot of different range of personalities within all of these. Like, yeah, there was a few standout, but like, I didn't really care about anybody all that much. There was only like 2 characters that I was like, I hope don't die. And everybody else is like, I don't really, like, it means nothing when they die. I don't know. Hard to explain.
Yeah. No, I mean, I understand what you mean. I think part of it is, not all of it, but I think part of it was probably that the whole series was less about the characters and more about the theme of the show, and the characters just were there to serve as like a vehicle to display this theme to viewers. And obviously you still, even if you're taking that route, you still want the characters to be good and likable or hateable, depending on what you're going for. You want people to actively. You don't need everyone to like every character. Sometimes you're okay if you hate characters. As well. But I agree. So I had similar feelings where most of the characters I couldn't care less about. I think that there's that one girl that everyone like, and for good reason. Those two did that one episode was really well done from front to back. Everyone that was involved in that episode, there was a lot of emotional weight. Everyone kind of nailed it about as much as you could possibly hope to nail it for that episode. And I think those were the moments that I enjoyed the most about the show, was that when the show wanted you to get to feel something, and not just the shock of it, but like it did a good job of getting you to feel something. And just the absurdity of it all. I feel like even though this is obviously very extreme, and like that episode where you're talking about where the guys were there or whatever, and the English was terrible and all that stuff. even though the concept is wild, just like with the Hunger Games, which is like tangentially related to this kind of a theme, right? The world just keeps getting so fucking like their actual world keeps getting so fucking crazy that it's hard. Like, I feel like that's where some of the shock gets taken away. It's like in some small like back part of my mind, I go, you know what? This could totally be a thing. Like this could exist in some fucking corner of the world somewhere, and I wouldn't. And if it ever came out, I'd be like, not surprised. Like, I'm not shocked about. I wouldn't even be shocked about that shit anymore. It's like whenever, like, for a laugh, The Simpsons would do something about a person or a company or whatever, and it'd be a laugh because it's a parody, and then 15 years later, that exact fucking thing happens, and it's reality now. And it's like the difficulty of publications like The Onion writing an article that's like so like blatantly parody, but then it mimics reality to the point where it's not even parody anymore. It's kind of like when you watch a show like that, some of it is it gets harder and harder to suspend disbelief because you don't have to suspend your disbelief anymore. You're just like, fuck it. Yeah. Somewhere this is happening. Somewhere this is happening doing something like this shit. It wouldn't be all that shocking. But
so yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. I agree for sure.
Yeah. And outside of that, I don't think we've watched. I mean, I talked about Dune last week, and that's pretty much it. I haven't seen really anything else.
Oh, I just realized I'm gonna go grab my phone. I forgot my phone. 1 sec.
All right. But yeah, no, I haven't seen. Geez, what are we gonna watch next? I think Kale and I are gonna watch. There was another show that we were gonna start, and I forget the name of it. I'll let you guys know next week when I get around to it.
Oh, Em watched. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it's a Netflix film that has that girl from Haunting of Hill House in it, and also Theon Greyjoy. As well, that's on Netflix. It's a Netflix movie. She watched that here. I saw bits and pieces of it. It looked pretty okay. You know, she's a pretty great actress. I mean, she kind of plays the same character in every movie or show I've seen her in so far. But she does it well, so it doesn't really matter. Let me pull up our Patreon. I had a hard time finding it on my phone because they changed the icon and they changed the entire app. It's just black and white now, basically.
Great.
Let me see. So now I gotta find. There we go. Awesome. All right, we got it. It's time for
movies and tech support.
Movies and tech support. Patreon.com/lagtv. Where you can financially support this podcast, and for $10 more a month, you get a couple of things, but chiefly at the moment, that thing is you get to ask questions each and every week for a segment called Tech Support. Put up a post before the podcast, and we answer as many of these questions as we can with the time that we have. Oh, let's see here. Logan, hi guys. What is one life hack that you have found to be particularly effective?
Life hack.
Yeah, just something that you can do that just makes life easier is usually what that's referring to. I got a couple.
All right.
They're not really life hacks. They're just things that I have found make most of my days easier when I do them. I don't do them all the time, but I make an effort to. When my alarm goes off in the morning, I allow myself about 30 seconds to wake up, and then I quite literally, the saying is jump out of bed, I quite literally jump out of bed. I mean, I lift my feet up, and I catapult my ass out of bed, and don't give myself time to lay there and want to grab my phone and laze around in bed, because as soon as that happens, my ass ain't leaving that bed for a half hour, 45 minutes, and then I get tired again, and I don't wake up. And I'm kind of lethargic for a lot longer than if I just give myself literally just enough time to be conscious and then launch myself out of my fucking bed and get the day going. The follow-up to that, which is kind of related, is when I'm in the shower, I love myself a hot shower. I can't get away from it. It's so nice to have a nice hot shower. But what I do now, at the end of all my showers, is I take that shit to the coldest setting at the end. I don't give myself time to think about it, because if I think about it, I won't do it. I'm just done. I've done, like, my last thing is shampoo my hair. I watch, and then I don't even think. I take 2 deep breaths, and I fucking turn that knob fucking all the way to the right, and I just brace for impact. Just, and I'm in it. And you have to control your breathing so you're not, like, hyperventilating and shit. And just kind of absorb the cold and let that shit just hit you like a wave. And stay in it for as long as it can. Usually it's like somewhere between 3 and 5 minutes of the coldest setting.
Oh,
and,
fuck.
And then I'm done.
No.
It closes up all my pores on my face and shit. But more importantly, it wakes me up more than anything else. I can have a coffee. I can have whatever. It does not do anywhere near as well as finishing my warm shower with a super cold ending, 2 to 5. And, you know, there are all sorts of other, like, added benefits, apparently, but, like, I'm not here to, like, promote, you know, whether it's true science or pseudoscience. I'm just saying it wakes me up. and so that's what I do. It really gets me going in the morning.
Well, I don't do that. I mean, I brush my teeth in the shower. So I do that. I also use my mouthwash in the shower as well. So I do when I go in the shower in the morning, I pretty much get it all done right then and there. Right? So like my toothbrush and stuff isn't in the shower. It's at my sink, but I grab it, put it in the shower, and I do that. Before I go into the shower, so all of our bathrooms, for whatever reason, they have timers. So when you go in, there's a fan in the bathrooms, like most. And there's a 5-minute. I think there's it goes 5 minutes. Actually, I think it starts at like 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. And when I go into the bathroom, so I don't stay in the shower too long, I click either the 10 or the 15 minutes. Like I won't go further than 15 minutes in the shower. Because I could literally stand in a hot shower until the fucking water runs out.
And it's not healthy, but you do it anyway because it feels good.
It feels good, right? Pretty soon I'll have a hot tub to do that, and I won't have to do that shit. But I click the 10 or 15 minutes. I go in the shower, and then once the fan stops, that's when I turn the water off. So I just, that's my little hack to get me out of the shower. It's like, oh, my time's up. I'm out of here. I also listen to I get my news and my MMA stuff and all these things that I'm interested in, real estate, etc., while in the shower. So I have a Bluetooth water-resistant speaker. It goes in my shower. I turn it on, and then while I'm in the shower, I'm listening and consuming. I'm relaxing. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm washing, and then I take the pill out, the speaker pill, and then I put it in the bathroom, and then I'm getting changed. I might touch up my face a little bit. And then I'm good. And that's how I usually start my mornings.
Getting them all crammed together.
That's it. Boom.
The magic happened. Roarin said, "Hey guys, hope all is well. Question for you guys: what is the thing you are most grateful for in the last calendar year?" I'm going to say that I am most grateful that pretty much everyone I know within my family and close friends circle, regardless of where they lived, managed to miraculously dodge getting COVID. Even within, there's one exception, I suppose. It was a friend of mine via M, who's also a nurse, and he was working in the COVID wing, and there was nothing. You're fucked, basically. You're in the COVID wing. Your ass is getting COVID, almost guaranteed. No matter how much PPE you have on, if you're in that environment for long enough. And unfortunately, he was like 5 days away from his vaccinations, and it just popped off in that last 5-day period, and was in the hospital for a couple of days because of it, ironically. But other than that, yeah, regardless of where they lived, I'm very thankful that it was, for me and my circle, minor to non-existent, and that everyone in this household was healthy the whole time, and my grandmother made it out the other side, not having to see any of her kids or grandkids or whatever have to suffer with that, and especially not affect my grandmother specifically. So there, that's my probably top grateful for.
I mean, I'm not going to go down the same route. I'm going to kind of sound like a dick. I mean, obviously, I'm grateful for my family's health. And
How do you sound like a dick by saying what you're grateful for?
Well, I mean, I'm grateful for a lot of things, but I'm just going to pick something different, because obviously I can go down the same route and say, hey, I'm grateful for, everybody's health and stuff. Yeah, I'm grateful for real estate, man. I'm grateful. I am grateful for the real estate mecca we're in right now, because I managed to sell 2 houses this year. It's alleviated a lot of stress in my life. So I'm grateful for real estate. I just am. And I'm happy I got into the bitch, years and years and years ago. So I'm finally feeling the rewards of it this year, with how crazy things have been. So I've been taking advantage of that. So yeah, that's the first thing that popped in my mind. So I'm just gonna say the truth, and it is what it is.
That's fair ball.
Obviously, I'm very grateful for my family's health, and nobody got COVID and all this other stuff. But real estate.
It's been one of those times where if anyone owned real estate going into this complete fucking madness, it was a very good year.
I've been
to say the least.
I'm not gonna lie. I've been very tempted this year to sell everything.
I'm
my
not
house,
surprised.
Cash the fuck out, pay off my house, call it a day. But I'm gonna stay to the. I'm gonna go another couple decades. Let's go for
it. Let's see here. Oh, we're back again. Danjum is back again. Top 3. This one a little bit more broad. Top 3 PC games, Mr. Black.
PC, StarCraft Brood War, number uno, easily. Number 2, I'm gonna go Grand Theft Auto 5. And number 3. Oh, number 3. Top 3 PC games. Minecraft.
That last one was one of my 3 as well.
How can it not be?
It has to be. Minecraft has to be there. Minecraft. It's not Brood War for me. It's Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne.
Good one.
Frozen Throne, Minecraft. And the last one's tough because the last one, a lot of the PC stuff that I got into was at a time where it was coming out on consoles at the same time. Like,
I got no love for StarCraft.
I got love for StarCraft. I just personally, when I played it, when I personally play it myself, Frozen Throne was that I was a bigger fan of. Riven.
Good pick.
Even though I don't know, you know what? I'd have to go back and look and see if Myst sold more than Riven. Myst sold so many copies. This was like the biggest selling game until, I think, The Sims or some shit. It sold like 5 or 10 million copies, and that was during a time where people barely started buying CD fucking disk drives for their computers. That's big numbers. You sell 5 million copies of a game today, that's shit crazy. You sell 5 million copies back in the early 90s. It's wild. But yeah, for me, Riven, Minecraft, Warcraft 3, Frozen Throne. Okay, I got it. All right, maybe you got this in you. We'll see. How creative are you feeling today?
Not particularly, but sure.
I think you might be able to do this. J Kim.
All right.
Saying, hit me up with the sound of The Rock promoting Lag TV while at the same time stroking his own ego.
Are you ready? Are you ready for the most electrifying podcast? The number one podcast. Sit back and relax with some Zoa tea. and if it's late at night, shit, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Go ahead and grab yourself some tequila from The Rock. It's called Terramana. Terramana Tequila. Where we only create our tequila in the finest plantation type place. Well, I don't know what they call that. What do they call that?
Probably not plantation.
It's not a plantation, but it sounds like a word that could be used for it. All right, but it's definitely not a plantation.
The Rock does not support plantations.
You know what I mean, motherfucker. All right, they call it something. And I forget what it's called, but that place, it's not a plantation. But you know what The Rock did? The Rock went and bought a plantation and turned it into something like a celebration to create the number one tequila of our ancestors. And all the money that is collected, a portion of it is going to go to a good cause. Because we the number one of everything. Oh, by the way, Technical Alpha is great.
Why is he slowly turning into DMX as this continues?
I don't fucking know, all right? I'm rusty. Distillery, there it is. Distillery, not plantation, distillery. You feeling me? All right?
All right, now end this with The Rock doing a DMX impersonation.
Oh, you want the number one? Tequila? Yeah. Uh-huh. Do you smell what I'm cooking? Uh-huh. Project Rock. Tech 9. Yeah. Hey, yo, Tech, throw me the tequila. Terramana Tequila. Shout us to Tech 9 for getting me on this. We're going number one. Something like that.
That's exactly what I was actually just hoping that you were going to say number one in DMX's voice, but the extra added bonuses were great.
No problem.
10 out of 10.
It was worth the $10.
10 out of 10. Jorbox, since you became a streamer, was there ever an epic gaming moment that happened while you were offline that you had wished had been streamed? I can't think of any, but I'm sure there has been more than a few that you're like, son of a bitch.
I've played some, because like what I'd have to do on my quest to Grandmasters, some people knew this, but some didn't. I still was grinding games when I wasn't on stream to make up for the MMR I lost from stream snipers. So like I would do a 10-12 hour grind and then lose 30-40 ladder points and feel horrible about it. So then I'd play another like 3-4 hours off stream, and I've had quite a few games where like I've had some pretty toxic guys or like really good games that have happened and it just didn't happen on stream. That's probably the biggest example, because I don't really play much games outside of streaming and never really did. Yeah. So there's not a whole lot. I mean, there's only so many hours in a day.
The only thing I can think of was when it was like really early on in streaming where I was still playing some games, offline, which doesn't happen very often anymore. And I was still big into racing games and with Forza, and I was doing a lot of time trial stuff. And I had like a few time trials that were like I posted. I think the best time trial I ever posted in a Forza game for a track was 32nd or 33rd in the world. on a track, and I could never replicate that fucking time ever again. And in my mind, I was like, shit, I would have loved to have that been on video so I could be like, look,
I did it, Mom.
I did the thing. But it wasn't there. What are you going to do? Last question. Alexa, what is a movie that you would want a sequel of? I would love another Edge of Tomorrow, is what Alexa is saying.
Good pick. That's a good pick. You know, I'm going to go with the Joker, and I think we might get it. There's been a lot of talk, and they're just
little Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, they're just ironing out the right script. I mean, the movie made $1 billion.
It's a few.
I think they could probably pay Joaquin Phoenix $50 million to show up and do another one, maybe more. Seeing as though the first one made $1 billion.
What was the budget on the first movie? Was it big?
Low.
Was it big?
It was probably like 80 million or so. Let me see. The Joker budget. 70 million.
Holy shit. Who's the director on that?
It made $1 billion. Todd Phillips. And I do believe it was also like partly written by I'd have to look this up here. Let's see here. The Joker. But yeah, no, that's probably mine. Is the Joker. Oh no, it wasn't. Okay. It was just so good. It was just so good. And you know, if I can get a universe of the Joker, Batman, I don't even need to see Batman. Honestly, I'd be amped to just see the villains. And movies, dark, gritty, realistic, non-superhero, comic booky movies about the villains and get attached to the villains and why they do the things they do, the good, bad, and ugly of them, and then see it on the screen. I'm all over it. I love the Joker. I loved it.
Yeah, it was really, really well done.
Yeah.
Man. You know what? I wouldn't mind, even though I don't know exactly how they'd figure it out. I'm sure people that are smarter than me would be able to creatively come up with it, and it ended in a way that it almost would allow for this to happen in some way. Give me a sequel to Interstellar.
Oof. I don't know about that, man.
Because it ended in just a way that you could go with it, but it would take a mind that's smarter than me to come up with the creative juices.
I'd rather just Christopher Nolan make another sci-fi and call it a day.
That's fine too.
Yeah, and that's not Tenet, because I'm just gonna keep.
That was bad.
That wasn't a good movie.
That wasn't a good movie. No.
I'm probably one of the biggest Christopher Nolan fanboys out there. Tenet was a miss. It was a miss.
It wasn't even a small miss though. I mean, that was like a catastrophic miss.
It wasn't good. It just had almost no redeeming qualities outside of the score.
It was a movie now that after having seen it, anyone that says that they think it was a really good film, I don't know if I can trust their fucking opinion on movies anymore.
Yeah, it wasn't great. And I mean, I'm like, I definitely am into cerebral type, out there, make you think type shit. I'm into that. And that's what this was. And it was overly complicated. It was hard to make out dialogue. It was just not good. It was just not a good movie. I'm sorry.
Oh, you know what? I wouldn't. Maybe. Well, no, it wouldn't work. Never mind. I was thinking about. I'd forgotten how that ended, but I was thinking about that movie that fucking Thor. What's his name? Did the Netflix movie
Extraction?
Yeah,
it's coming. Number 2.
Is there a 2 coming?
Now.
Really?
Literally filming right now.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
What do I know?
It might even be done filming. They've
didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, Extraction 2. Yeah, there's already a trailer. Like the trailer came out. It was like more of a teaser than anything.
Okay. Because that was like one of those movies that I went in with like no expectations, and it ended up actually being a pretty good film.
Yeah, it's they're currently filming right now, so in the middle of filming. Yep,
wonderful.
It's coming.
My prayers have been answered, Mr. Black.
They're answered.
And that's how we're going to end this Technical Alpha. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping by and watching this live. If you have, hit the follow button before you head out. We'd love to have you come back here in the future. If you're listening to this on RSS feeds, thank you so much. Rate us if you can on wherever you listen to this podcast. Of course, you can head on over to patreon.com/lagtv to financially support this podcast if you want to see this bad boy continue on going as it has been. And until next week, thank you once again. Stay safe out there. And peace.
Peace.